Welcome back to the championship rounds, and recently at UFC 228 we saw Tyron the Chosen One Woodley defeat the gorilla Darren Till. Nobody saw this come in, just about. Everyone had written Woodley off. The young lion in Darren Till, everyone thought he was going to come in and run through Tyron Woodley. The UFC, that's what I wanted to talk about. The UFC and Dana White wanted it to happen. Now, if you've listened to Below the Belt with Brendan Schaub, he talks about a friend of his in the UFC offices overhearing the bigwigs in the UFC talking about how they hope that Tyron Woodley loses this fight. They want him out of the picture. They just have an agenda against him. I mean, Dana White has recently gone on record and said this, which I thought was absolutely disgusting.
Time Tyron Woodley opens his mouth, he shoots himself in the foot. He's a very unlikable guy to fight fans. It's the way Tyron Woodley has always been, and it is the way Tyron Woodley will always be.
And what it's done, it's made us believe, and everyone as fans, as analysts, as reporters, as journalists, believe that Tyron Woodley is a boring fighter. That is a narrative that has been given to us, and we've been made to believe, because it's what Dana White and the UFC want us to believe. Because they, for some reason, they have an agenda against him. Look, they're describing him as a boring fighter because of his fight with Damian Maia. Okay, I get that. Maybe the rematch against Wonderboy, fair enough. But I mean, those are just two examples. I mean, if you go through his resume, I mean, he is an exciting fighter. He can be an exciting fighter. I mean, he cleaned out Josh Koscheck. I mean, you got his fight with Robbie Lawler. There are countless examples of him showing that he's a lot, he's a lot more than just the tactical fighter that beat Damian Maia, which is a tough fight to be active and be exciting in, because Damian Maia is a nightmare. He wants you to wear him like a backpack, and trust me, if he gets a hold of you on the ground or wherever, then it's game over. And sometimes in fights like that, you have to put excitement to the back of your mind and focus on getting the job done, and that's exactly what Tyron Woodley's been doing. And in my opinion, he's nothing short of spectacular, and arguably the greatest welterweight of all time. The mistreatment of Tyron Woodley is getting a bit beyond belief. I mean, towards the start, I thought, yeah, he's just a bit salty about things because, maybe he's not getting the opportunities in the super fights he wants. But I mean, some of the examples he's given, I mean, he talked about weighing in against Darren Till. He made weight in the back when he checked on the scales, and he used the towel. He was naked to weigh in, and he hit the mark bang on. Now, he was already naked at this point. He'd already used the towel, but the UFC told him, we want you to weigh in with your boxers on first. Now, why would they do that? It just makes the champion look like he's needed 2 attempts to make weight, when that is not the case, because he just weighed in 5 minutes ago, bang on the mark, and used the towel. So why would they not just let him go straight out and use the towel, make weight at the first attempt? But no, they had him come out, weigh in with the boxers on, which obviously means he's going to weigh over the limit, and it just makes him look like he needed a second attempt, and it adds all this drama that, we thought we were worried about Darren Till, but it's Tyron Woodley who needed 2 attempts. And it's just a terrible way to treat your champion. I mean, he is marketable if you market him right. I mean, obviously he's got songs with Wiz Khalifa or whatever. If that might be a thing, that might be another thing. But I mean, his walkout on the night was fantastic. I mean, how is that not marketable? I mean, at the end of the day, look, Tyron Woodley is one of the best fighters on this planet. He is the best active champion. He's got the most title defenses of any active champion. And so I think it's time that the UFC start treating him with a bit more respect, rather than just trying to get him out of there. Because it sucks for Tyron Woodley that he knows if he loses the title, then God, he's going to have to do a lot to try and get a shot at it back, because they're not going to give him a title opportunity as easy as they've given title opportunities to the likes of Darren Till. That's just not going to happen. He's going to have to force their hand if he wants to make it happen again. So he knew when he was going out against Darren Till that he had so much to lose, that if he lost this fight, it would take him forever to get back to the top of the mountain, because there's so many obstacles in his way, i.e. Dana White, which is admirable in my opinion, because he went out there, like Darren Till went out there, nothing on Darren Till, I'm a big Darren Till fan, but Darren Till went out there knowing that the only thing he had to worry about and the only thing he had to fight for was that title. Tyron Woodley had to go out and he had to fight against Darren Till. He had to fight against Dana White. He had to fight against the bigwigs in the UFC. He had to fight against the fans who were telling him he's boring. The journalists who were telling us that we don't want to see him. He had so much to prove in this fight, and he must have had so much emotion and so much stress. I mean, he talked on Ariel Hawani's podcast about this is the first time, apart from his debut, he's ever felt nerves going into a fight. And you've got to feel sorry for him, because that is a byproduct of all this press and agenda coming from the bigwigs in the UFC and Dana White. So they're putting so much pressure on their champion, and so much focus and so much attention on trying to paint him out to be this boring fighter that we don't want to see, when they could be using their time and energy on marketing him and building him up to be more of a star, rather than just trying to stuff him down. Why don't they try and bring him up to the level they want him to be on, rather than writing him off completely? I think it's crazy. I mean, did you see Dana White's face when he was strapping the belt on it? Look here. That is not the face of someone who wanted that person to win. Obviously, the UFC, Dana White, they were all there secretly cheering for Darren Till, because they wanted to write off Tyron Woodley really quick. But Tyron Woodley, one of the best on the planet, he was not going to let that happen. Got the job done with a Darce choke, got his black belt in the ring. I mean, the emotion of him getting his black belt, that was something he was almost celebrating more than, winning the fight. He is a very likable character if you focus on that and you don't focus on the negatives and you don't focus on what the media are telling us. So Tyron Woodley, well done on proving everyone wrong and fighting for a lot more than just the title. Honestly, this guy deserves everybody's respect, and I hope and I pray it's about time and everyone starts giving it to him. This has been the Championship Rounds. I'll see you in the next one.